morning everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Glad you could join me again. Hope you are well. Yes, we have a beautiful early autumn morning here today. Bit chilly. I can feel a little bit of the winter chill in the air, but that's fine after all the heat we had during the summer. I'm not going to complain. Plan this morning is to shoot the Moonset. There's some fog in the air, so there's a bit of a ring around the moon. It is full moon. So, and it's almost coinciding with sunrise, so maybe a bit of color in the sky as well. A couple of compositions I've got in mind, including one that includes a shepherd's tree, and then also some compositions with rocks. These very long straight lines of rocks that we have here could also work. I might also get a sunrise along the way. There are some nice fluffy clouds in the sky, as you can probably see behind me. Maybe they will light up. It all depends on what is on the far horizon. But again, thanks for joining me. Let's see what we can capture on our little adventure this morning. I know you probably can't see much here at the moment. Only the moon. It's still very, very dark. But what we have here is actually quite interesting. It's a bit of fog in the air, full moon, just before sunrise. And there's a bit of a moon bow or circle around the moon in the sky. And a couple of layers in the clouds. So I'm hoping I can capture that with a rather nice shepherd's tree in the foreground. Yes, let me take a few photos. I'm going to do some serious exposure stacking here. The moon needs to be underexposed quite a bit to get some detail in it. And yes, for the foreground I need to probably expose about 60 seconds f11. I'll probably have to push it up to about ISO 800. But let's see what I can capture. Well, here we have the first capture of the morning. As you see, I managed to get enough light captured to have a relatively bright image. I also did some light painting on the tree, so the tree stands out quite nicely. I'm also quite happy with the way I managed to capture the light bow around the moon caused by the fog in the sky or in the air. This was I processed this with quite a warm white balance, but I thought let me also try and process the same image with a colder white balance, and I think I actually prefer the second image. It's more what it really was compared to what I saw. But yes, overall I quite like the image. I would have liked some more foreground interest. But yes, the bow is nice, the color variation in the sky is nice, the orange around the moon is nice, and of course the tree gives interest. Overall I'm quite happy with this image. Well, after shooting the version of the image you just saw, I moved the camera slightly to the right, trying to get the moon closer to the tree, and I think this worked out quite nicely. The moon is actually sitting in that little bend in the far branch of the tree, and now the moon bow is almost circling the tree. It's like a halo around the bottom end of the tree. I think overall this is even nicer composition than the previous one, and I'm going to definitely print this one to see what it looks like. Again, I would have liked a bit more foreground interest, but this will work. I think there's enough background interest plus the halo in the sky that really makes this image worthwhile. Well, yeah, I found another composition. What I have here is a branch overhanging the moon right in the middle, between the ground and the branch, and in the distance there's another bush, some nice grass in the foreground, and lots of nice detail in the foreground as well in the shrubs. And around the moon there's a bit of fog still. I'm not sure if it'll still form a ring, if I'll see it in the final image. But yes, a bit of a different composition compared to the previous one with the shepherd's tree. I'll have to exposure stack this as well, probably plus about 2 stops and minus about 2 stops as well, just to try and get some detail on the moon. But I think this is a workable composition. There's another one not far from here with another tree, so I'm quickly going to shoot this, and before the moon drops too low I'm going to try the other one as well. Well, here's the image I managed to capture. What I do like about the composition is the actual tree trunk or branch coming from bottom left hand corner, curving and bending around over the moon, and also the bush, the small bush in the background. Between them they almost form a circle around the moon. What I do not like is the little branch that interferes with the moon, almost touches the moon. It would have been better, I think, if it wasn't there. But overall, I like the image. What I do not like particularly is all the empty or the dead space on the right hand side. So here is the version that I've cropped. I've cropped it into a more square, almost portrait format. And I think this version is definitely the one that I prefer. I also managed to get a bit more space at the top. I didn't like the fact that in the first capture of the image, the branch actually exited the image at the top. But this is, I think, quite nice in its simplistic way. I like all the grass in the foreground, which is not typical of this area. But the autumn-colored grass in the foreground actually, I think, makes a nice difference from the normal rocks and sand that we have in this area. Overall, I like the image, but it could have been better. Well, here we have what is probably the final composition with the moon. As you can see, I found this tall, lanky shepherd's tree, and the moon is behind it, but it's getting quite low now. It's almost touching the tree at the bottom. Not much foreground interest, but some interesting bushes and finer detail. There is a bit of color starting to form in the sky as well, because the sunrise is getting quite close now. So I'm not sure if this image will work. I'll probably crop off most of the top, the sky above the tree. And yes, but what I do like about it is the way the tree goes up vertically and then swerves to show the moon towards the right. So it kind of takes your eye into the image and then towards the right. But along the way you do see the moon, or hopefully anyway. I'll see once this is on the computer if this is actually usable. But a different composition from the previous ones. Now I'm going to have a look at the sunrise, because I think we might get a tiny bit of color. There are a few small clouds. Let's hope for the best. This is the final image that I managed to capture of the moon with a tall, thin tree. I do like the composition in the sense that it's quite simplistic. Just this very simple tree with one bush of leaves on top. Almost a clear sky, no clouds, just a bit of fog creating some layers. And then the foreground, just some small bushes and grass, or not grass, small plants, and a few rocks. So it's a minimalist type of image, and I really like it. I'm not 100% sure if I'm happy with the moon almost in the middle of the image, but I suppose it works in the sense that it kind of looks like the tree is trying to avoid the moon, leaning over to show you the moon. Overall, nice capture, but I would have loved if this image also had the moon, the ring around the moon. But at this stage, the fog had dissipated quite a bit already. Well, there's a bit of color forming in the sky. So I might get an extra bonus here with some nice pastel colors. I just need to find a composition that can use it. But I'm quite happy with the Moonset. I think I managed to capture one or two images there with a slight ring around the moon, quite far away from the moon. And then, of course, as the moon dropped closer to the horizon, I managed to frame it below an overhanging branch. And also one or two other compositions, which you've probably seen by now. But now let's concentrate on the sunrise. Maybe there's something usable here as a bonus. I'm quite happy with the image that I managed to capture. I love the color in the sky, the nice soft pastel colors going from yellows to oranges to reds with some blue at the top. The rock formation moving from left hand bottom towards the middle of the image is also quite nice, though it's rather busy compared to the more simplistic sky. And the little bushes just above it also, I'm not sure if that adds to the image or not. But overall, I'm quite happy with it, with the capture. It was still relatively dark, and I'm glad that there was at least some color in the sky, because initially it looked like there would be no color, just fog that rolls in and then goes or fades away again. This is probably my last composition of the morning, but I quite like the rocks in the foreground. As you can see here, bottom left, with a leading line with a bush and some more rocks going up into the horizon, where we've got the clouds with the peach colors, and the hill towards the left also gives some interest. I think overall quite a pleasant image. And if there's enough color in the sky, or I manage to capture enough color in the sky, it could be quite a nice image. I think might even end up being printed for my collection. Yes, I do believe I prefer this composition, with a flat rock on the bottom left of the image, with the beautiful colors on it. And then in the middle of the image, leading towards the middle of the image I should say, there's the bush with the aloes, and then some detail in the sky, which you probably won't see here because it's a bit overexposed, but there's some nice detail, very soft peachy colors in the sky. I think this is probably the best composition of this morning for the sunrise anyway. So, and also as the colors are fading, it'll probably be the last one as well, but usable. I will exposure stack plus minus 2 stops. I think that should be enough. I definitely prefer the final sunrise image to the others, specifically the beautiful colors in the sky and also the shapes of the clouds. Very soft, fluffy, pastel colors. And the foreground rocks, the 3 rocks on the left-hand side starting, look like books or tombstones. 3 of them leaning over slightly and leading your eye into the image up towards the cloud formation. Overall, a very nice image. Just the green bush in the middle as well, I quite like. It brings a bit of a extra color into the image. I think overall I really like this image, and I'm definitely going to print it. I believe that an image only really comes to life if you print it relatively large as well. You can see all the detail, and then quite often that's why I decide if the image makes the grade or not. But I'm giving this one a pretty good chance of making the grade. Overall, I'm quite happy with this image, and yes, if this was the only good image of the morning, I would be satisfied. Well, I believe that's it for this morning. The moon is gone. The colors in the sky are mostly gone, but beautiful clouds. I'm actually quite happy with the clouds. Unexpected. The prediction was for a clear morning, but I must say, especially recently in the last 2 months or so, the predictions have been pretty terrible. Very seldom right. But that's fine by me. It's a question of just coming out anyway, because sunshine or rain doesn't matter. There's always the image to be captured. Thanks for joining me this morning. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you did, please give me a like. It helps. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do. I try and release regular videos, and mostly on a Sunday evening, so you will at least see if there's something new in my collection. If you are interested in any of the images that you saw that I captured, please contact me. Also have a look at my Redbubble site. The details are below in the description. You can also buy some other merchandise, anything from cups to canvas prints there. The prints that I do myself are limited edition, serialized and signed, and I only do those for the very best images. But please contact me. Thanks for joining me again, much appreciated. Hope to see you again next week, and have a beautiful week and enjoy your photography.
Thank you.